Hello, welcome back to Logic Lab, a channel where I teach puzzle solving one deduction at a time. As I work through this Sudoku grid, I'll explain my entire thought process, and by the end of the solve, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to read Sudoku structure, spot hidden interactions, and break open even the trickiest of puzzles. Let's dive in. Okay, here's Kindergarten Class by Hiyou. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That is, place digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. We have anti-knight and anti-king rules. Cells separated by a knight's move and a king's move away in chess cannot contain the same digit. If this were a 5, that would, or let's say, if this were a 5, none of these could be 5s by knight's move, but also these can't be 5s by king's move, because if it were to move like a king, it would see these squares. Renban. Digits on a Renban line form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits, e.g. 5, 3, 2, 4. So these digits on the Renban form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. Sandwich clues. Clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits strictly between the 1 and the 9 in the associated row or column. So there's a 14 here. This 14 means the sum of the digits between the 1 and the 9 in the column is 14. 16, sum of the digits between 1 and 9 in the row is 16. The way to play is to click the link below. Now it's my turn. Here we go. Okay, first thing I'll notice is that this line, it's 8 cells long, so it must be either 1 through 8 or 2 through 9. So the missing digit that's not on this line is a 1 or a 9. I'm going to color this cell, because maybe this will make things a little easier. I'm going to call row 7, column 6, make it blue. Okay, where does blue go? This box. Well, it can't go here by knight's move or anywhere here or here, so it's in one of two positions, which means where does it go in this box? Well, it can't repeat on its own Renban line because it contains a set of non-repeating consecutive digits, so it must go there. Now, where does blue go in this column? Well, it's quite restricted. The knight's move and king anti-king move is very, very restrictive. So these can't be blue, obviously. This can't be blue. It sees this and this. Neither can this, or this. So the only two places, despite the fact that we really know nothing else about the numbers in the grid, we can say blue is confined to one of two positions. Blue is confined to one of three positions. What else can we do? Now, let's make this cell orange. So where does orange go? In the box again, it can't repeat on the line or here by knight's move, so it must go there, which means in this box, it has to not be here. It must go there. So we know it is on the line. Okay. We can say orange actually, column 7 is definitely in one of two positions. Yeah, orange is very restricted. I mean, it's so powerful, the anti-knight and anti-king. Because orange can't go here by king's move, or here by knight's move, or there. So orange is in one of three positions. In this box, orange can't repeat on the line. So orange is in one of three positions, but note, if this is orange, then it rules out the possibility of orange being in the box. So this is not orange, so orange is in one of two positions, which means orange must go here in the box due to the restrictions of anti-knight and anti-king. So that's orange, which takes out orange from here. So this is orange, takes out orange from any of those. So that's orange, putting an orange in one of two positions. Yeah, this puts an orange in one of two positions here, which knocks out orange from there. So I'll make this orange. So we almost have the oranges. We have 7 oranges. We just need to figure out those two. Now let's let this cell I see is interesting because it's restricted in the box. So where do we put it in this box? Well, again, it can't repeat on its own Renban or go here by king and knight's move, so it must go there. And this is restrictive because it means it can either go here or here. Do know it's in one of two positions. This cell is also interesting. I'm going to let it be yellow because where does it go in this box? It's very restricted. It can't repeat on its line. By Sudoku, knights, and king's move, it must go there. Yellow and green are different. Yellow's in one of two positions, which means where does it go in the column? Well, it can't go in any of these, or here, or here, or here, or here, or there, so it literally has to go there, which means it is in one of two positions. It's a little bit restricted. So now in this box, yellow can't go there, would rule out yellow by king's move. It can't go here. It also can't go there because it would rule it out by knight's move. So it does belong down here somewhere, which puts yellow in one of two positions. So now yellow can't go anywhere here. It's very, very restricted. Let's take a look at where yellow can go in this row. Well, it can't go in any of these because it would rule out yellow from all of these squares. It can't go here or here or here or any of these, so the only place is right here. So it must go there, which makes yellow in one of three positions. Now I'm going to let this square be gray. Okay, and let's play the same game. Gray in this box can't go here. It can't repeat on its Renban. It's not blue or orange, so it must go there. Which means down here, gray is not orange, so gray must go there. It's very, very restrictive. So now, gray is forced to be in one of two positions here. And likewise, gray is forced to be in one of two positions there, which could do something. Yeah, it kind of does something. It does. It does do something very important. So let's take a look at gray in this box. Can't go here, can't go there by knight's move, and it also can't go there because gray's up here. If gray is there, gray is green, but it's not. Knowledge bomb, gray is not green. So this must be gray. That's the only way. Which puts a gray here, which takes out gray from there, which makes this a gray. Now this being gray is going to do a lot because it puts yellow in one of these, takes out a yellow from here, putting a yellow there. This gray took out the orange, so now this is orange. Now this is not orange, so now this is orange. So now this is green. Now gray in this box is definitely there by Sudoku. So gray in this box is in one of two positions. Something with green. Green's in one of two positions. I can take a look at this cell. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Because where do we put it in this box? Well, it's not any of those squares. So it obviously can't be any of these. It's not here. It doesn't repeat on its line. So it's in one of two positions, which means that cell is in one of three positions and it's not here by king and knight's move. So it is green. So actually, that's green, which which puts a green in one of two positions. This surely should do something. Yes, it's going to put green here. And now by Sudoku in this column, you have to place green somewhere and it must go there. So that is green. Green is in one of two positions here. Green is also in one of two positions there. So this is an X-wing in greens. So now this cannot be green. So that is green. What else can we do? Oh, wow, this is not gray because it sees it by knight's move. So that's gray. Takes out a gray from here. So this is gray. Do we have all the grays? Yes, we do. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let purple be, hopefully that's not too bad. Purple is this cell. So where does purple go in the box? Well, it's ruled out of all these squares. It's not orange, so this is purple. Therefore, purple is in one of two positions. And purple is quite restricted, actually. In the column, purple and gray are different. It's not here. It's not there. It's not here. And it's not in any of these. So its only place is right here. It's purple. And purple now must go there. Okay, purple goes here. Then purple's in one of two positions, which means purple's in one of two positions there. But none of these are purple due to knight's move. None of those are purple. That's not purple. Purple is definitely in one of two positions, which means it's here somewhere. Now, it's very clever. Where does purple go in this row? Not here, anywhere there, or here. So it's in one of two positions. But it's in one of two positions and one of two positions, so it can't go there. So it must go right there. So row 2, column 5. I'm kind of running out of colors, so I'm just going to make it A. So A in this box must go there. And A is not blue. So clearly, this cell is blue. And this will make sense why I'm coloring everything. Blue's in one of two positions. This cell's blue. So now, where does blue go in the column? Very similar logic. Can't go in any of these squares, or here now, or in those two, so it must go there, which means it's in one of those two positions. It's Sudoku knight's move. So blue's in one of two positions there, which means blue can't go there. So blue's in one of two positions down there. So taking out a blue from here, making this blue. Now blue must go there. So blue must go here. We've almost done all the blues. Oh, this sees blue by knight's move. So this is blue, which means that's blue. So blues are done. We take a look at where does A go in column 3. It's ruled out of any of these squares, so it must go in the bottom here. Which means it definitely is here since it's not blue. So this is A, and A and purple are not the same. So that's going to put purple here. Which puts purple in one of two positions, and that's going to put purple in one of two positions there. Let's continue the logic with A. So this column is interesting because it can't go here or here or here or any of those. So A is right there. So now A is here. Now A is there. A is in one of two positions. A is here because it's not gray. So that's A and that's A. Remember, A is not purple. So now this is purple. Taking away purple from here. Making this purple. Making that purple. So are the purples done? Yes, they are. Nice. Now we can think about maybe yellow. It's quite restricted. Yeah, yellow is very restricted. Yellow and purple are obviously not the same. So yellow is in one of two positions, which means it's not here. So now this is yellow. It's in one of two positions. Now the sensible thing to do is to make this B. So B can't repeat on its own thing. So B is in one of two positions. And by Sudoku, B is here. Wow. Puts B in one of two positions. If B is here, we know B and green are not the same. So that is green, which means that this is green. So green is done. Now B in this box, it's quite restricted. It's in one of two positions. So B in this box must go here, right in the middle. So that means this is B, that means that's B, and that means this is B. Cascades, like so. So B is not yellow, so I will take away the yellow, make this yellow, which makes that yellow, which makes the corner cell yellow. So yellows appear to be done. Yes, they are. Let's continue with B's. So B is definitely there. B is definitely here. B is there. B's are done. Okay, let's try something here. This cell, let's take a look at what it could be. Well, I can prove that it is not on this Renban line because it clearly can't go there or here or here. It's not green or blue. So we know that the cell that's not on the Renban is a 1 or a 9. So now we could just do Sudoku to figure out where that digit goes. It must go there. It must go up here. Because now we've effectively colored in the grid to make things easier. So it must go there. Must go in the central cell. Now it must go here. And because we know that this 1-9 is not any of those cells. So we can essentially place it in all of the boxes, which is super, super cool. That's a 1 or the 9. Okay. Now, this is where the sandwich clues, 30 minutes into the video, the sandwich clues are going to come in and have a role here. Remember, this is the sum of the digits between the 1 and the 9. 14, 16. So let's take a look at where the other 1-9 in this column. Well, we need to have some of the digits in between be 14. So the other 1-9, it could be there. It can't be here because that would force a 1-9 here corresponding to the 1-9s being back to back, which would break this 16. It could be blue. And actually, it can't be gray because if it's gray, that forces this to be a 1-9. And then you can't make a 16 is too big. And you obviously can't make it B. So the only place for the other 1-9 is right there. So actually, blue is 1 or 9, which is huge. Now, let's take a look at B. So B is not on this 7-cell Renban. So if it's not on a 7-cell Renban, it's either like 8, 9, 1, or 2, but it's not a 1 and 9 because it sees this pair. So it's either 2 or 8. Because this is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is an 8. Or it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's a 2. But let's try to make it an 8. What would you put here? Because remember, these cells must sum to 14 because they're in between the 1 and the 9. If you made this an 8, you would have to make these cells sum to 6, which would force a 1, 2, and 3 in green, gray, and orange. But how would that work for this 16? If you tried to make green, orange, and green even be a 3 or a 2, the puzzle would break because you'd have to make this purple digit sum to 11 for it to be 11 and 5 is 16. So that is quite beautiful. That is incredible. So that shows clearly why B can't be 8 because of the way it interacts with this 14 and simultaneously this 16 from the coloring. 2 of these digits belong on the 16, so they cannot be low. Some of them have to be high to get this to be a single digit. So B is not 8. So we know that B is 2 now. And it does not belong on this. So that means we can't make this a 1, right? Because then we'd have to include a 2 on this, which we know we can't. So this must be a 9, which I will highlight all of them and make them a 9. And then the blues must be 1s. Now, these 4 sum to 14. 14 minus 2 is 12. So these 3 sum to 12. The only way to get 12 in 3 different digits without using a 1, 9, or 2 is 3, 4, 5. That's the minimum you can make it. That is the only way to get that. So green is a 3, 4, 5. Um, gray is a 3, 4, 5, and pink, or not pink, orange is a 3, 4, 5. So now we need to see how it interacts with the 16. So if this was a 3, 4, then it would be 7, and then this would have to be 9. 7 and 9 give you 16, but that would break. So this can't be 3, 4, which means one of these, we don't know which one as of yet, but one of them must be a 5. So gray cannot be a 5. Okay. Let's think about this. We just go through the options. If it's 5, 3, then it's 8. So then this is 8. If it's 5, 4, and it's 9, so then this is 7. So purple is either a 7 or an 8. Okay? And we said that green is a 3, 4, 5. But now, very, very beautifully, take a look at this. Seemingly meaningless right triangle in the upper corner gives us an incredibly useful deduction. How can you make this a 3? The answer is you can't. Because remember, these 3 digits are consecutive. Since this is a 7 or an 8, you can't make this a 3. Because then you can't connect it. You need more digits on the line for them to all be consecutive. So this is not a 3. And likewise, it's not a 4. Because even if you made this 4, 7, you can't simultaneously make it a 5 and a 6 for them all to be consecutive. So this must be a 5, which means green is 5. Okay, and now this can't be an 8 because the same reason, it's too far. So this must be a 7. So now purple is 7. Okay, so now orange is now 4 to give you the sum of 16. So now gray is 3. And now this needs to be 6 to make them all be consecutive. So yellow is now 6. And A is an 8. And that's going to do the puzzle. That is incredible. 39 minutes, 33 seconds. 329 people have solved this in less than 3 days. Now let's appreciate how the anti-knight and anti-king, combining those rules together is very powerful. Notice how all the digits are kind of in like an elongated knight's move away from each other, right? Instead of 1, 2 spaces, if you go 1, 3 spaces, you'll get the next digit. Same thing with the 6s, the 2s. They all follow that pattern, which may just be a property of combining those two constraints together. Okay, look at them. They all follow that pattern. Every single digit follows that, like step down, step up type pattern. And then just to combine these 14 and 16 so perfectly, deducing these 3 digits, that is truly a joy. And then this is forced because they need to be close to each other, which does this, and just unwinds the puzzle beautifully. Truly a joy. Kindergarten Class by Hiyou. Hope you liked it. I'll see you in the next one.